Welcome back to the show. I'm going to be talking in a few minutes to Tom Quinlan, CEO of Affordable Live-In Home Care. Firstly, I'm going to go straight to Patrick O'Donovan. Are you there, Patrick?
I am, yeah. How are you, Damien?
Thank you very much for joining us, Patrick. I know you've got a little baby there asleep beside you or close to you, is it? Or is the baby woken up yet?
No, she's not. When she does, I'm going to have to cut you short.
Okay, well, if she wakes up, what's her name?
Me.
Oh, okay. Listen, you're Fine Gael TD. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you based, please?
Well, I'm TD for County Limerick. I've been TD now for the last 9 years. I'm from Newcastle West in West Limerick, and it's an enormous constituency, a bit like Waterford, but we don't have a large urban centre like Waterford City, so it's a sprawling rural constituency. And look, I suppose, to be honest about it, like everybody else was re-elected to the Dáil, we had a fairly bad day, so I'm delighted to be back in the Dáil, very conscious of the fact that my colleagues in County Waterford didn't get elected, and we don't have a seat now in County Waterford, but I think that we're going to turn our attention to in the near future to try and get one back. Okay,
have you ever met Matt Shanahan?
No, I haven't, and you know what I've been saying over the last couple of days is I haven't met most of the TDs in the Dáil, but everybody has the same constitutional obligation as I do, which is to enter Dáil Éireann with a view to farming a government, and that involves responsibility, and responsibility is what has fallen on the shoulders of people, particularly people who advocated change, and what that change is, I don't know, because we didn't win the election. Actually, nobody won the election, but there is a group now that are very clearly united, on the opposition benches in particular, between independents of every colour and Sinn Féin, who have between them 87 seats. And the day before yesterday, I called on Sinn Féin to stop pretending that they were, negotiating with independents for the formation of a government and actually start to do it, because they came out after 24 hours, threw their hands up in the air and said, we haven't the numbers. It took Enda Kenny in the last Dáil 76 days to engage properly with independents to form a government, but that required independents to show their hand and to say who they were going to vote for Taoiseach. And I think that in every constituency, people have a right to know who people are going to vote for on Thursday for Taoiseach, and that this country can get on with the process of forming a government.
So you issued a press statement saying, time for Shanahan to clarify his position on government instead of running away from responsibilities. Like, what gives you the right to comment on whether Matt Shanahan should vote for one person or the other?
It gives me the right under the Constitution. The Constitution makes it very clear, and the citizens of Ireland, and I'm one of them, so are you, we elect people, 160 people, to a Dáil Éireann. And in that constitution, there is an obligation on the members of Dáil Éireann, in the first instance, to elect a Taoiseach. So everybody has to decide who they're going to vote for. And the people who sent us there have a right to know who we're going to vote for.
Yes.
Because the constitution puts it firmly and squarely on our shoulders to do it. And that involves coming out and telling the people, not only in Waterford, but in Clare, in Donegal, in Kerry, in every county in the country, people have a right to know before Thursday who's going to be the person that's going to come out of Leinster as Taoiseach.
Yeah, we've been in touch with Matt Shanahan, as you know, independent, non-party, newly elected TD for Waterford, would have taken a lot of Fine Gael votes, as people would argue here. So is this just a bit of sour grapes, Deputy O'Donovan, from your perspective?
Well, you know, I've been asked that by a couple of presenters of radio shows since I asked this question. And no, it's not. I mean, I said at the very start of the radio interview there with you, Damien, we lost the election. There was a unanimity amongst everybody else. We want them out. And I don't know anybody who canvassed in Waterford or Wexford or Carlow or Kilkenny or anywhere else with a canvassing card saying, I want to be in opposition. Everybody that canvasses for an election and puts their name forward, unless I'm dreaming, wants to be in government to effect change for their constituency. We were in government. We presented a platform and we didn't win. So we're now preparing to go into opposition, which is the outcome that the people have imposed on us.
Yeah, but why are you?
People have made it.
Why are you picking? Are you picking on Matt Shanahan? Why are you picking on Matt Shanahan?
No, I'm not picking on him individually. I've picked on the whole lot of them, and I've issued the same statement to every part of the country. And this isn't and if it was Fianna Fáil or the Green Party, I would do the same thing. It's not that it's nothing to do with him as an individual. It's just that he doesn't have a party flag. If he had a party flag, I would be saying the same thing.
I understand.
The people of County Waterford have a right to know County Limerick have a right to know. The people of County Wexford have a right to know. And when there's to my knowledge, there has been no serious discussions amongst independents as to what they're going to do.
And
they need now to come out. Today, we're within 48 hours of a vote being taken for the most important position in the state as laid out in the Constitution of Ireland. And we're still waiting.
We understand,
what people are going to do.
So were you given the go-ahead by Fine Gael HQ to basically be the front runner on this in terms of coming out against and talking about all the independents, or are you just doing this as a solo run? I presume this is an established Fine Gael tactic to basically target the independents.
No, it's not. Anyone that knows me, Damien, knows over the last number of years on national and local radio stations, I haven't been found wanting when it comes to calling a spade a spade. There's a lot of spades around now in terms of that, we need to actually find out what in the name of God is going to happen in terms of the formation of a government. And we can't leave this country list off, particularly in the context of, a Brexit negotiation that's happening on Thursday evening, with the likelihood of a hard Brexit, and us wandering around in a fog, no government, because people that are elected to the Dáil just don't want to take the responsibility.
Well,
this is an initiative that I...
They're still making up their mind. Some of them would say they're still making up their mind. They haven't made their mind up yet.
Why did they stand for the Dáil then? And did it say in their canvassing card, making my mind up? I mean, it's not an ABBA song here that we're dealing
I know it's not,
but
as one texter... Well, let's take it seriously. As one texter texted in, why is this man worried about Waterford when your party never cared about Waterford?
I'll tell you why I'm worried about Waterford, because Waterford is the very same to me as Louth and Offaly and everywhere else. I'm a citizen of this country and a Dáil deputy.
Well, we don't have 24/7 cardiac care.
And I don't. My responsibility is not in the county bounds in Kilbenny, just above Mitchelstown. I have a responsibility not to the people of Limerick, but to the people of Ireland. And I'm as entitled as anybody else to know who's going to form the government for my country. I have 2 young children, and I don't want them to wind up in Australia. But there's a cabal now that were opposed to everything that the last government did in Dáil Éireann. Every sort of a colour of an independent had no problem in uniting behind a flag of get them out. Well, now it looks like we're on the way out. They're on the way in. And I just want to know, as a citizen, who are they going to vote for Taoiseach?
Yeah, well, why didn't... I don't think... You're entitled...
I can understand the texter's comments from Waterford. There's a lot of problems in Waterford, there's a lot of problems in Limerick, there's a lot of problems in Longford, there's a lot of problems everywhere.
Yeah, well, Matt Shanahan got elected he would argue on a broader flat. I'm not defending him now, Deputy O'Donovan, but one of the major things was 24/7. If I got a heart attack this weekend coming again after 5 o'clock in the evening, I may well have to go to Cork. If you were living here, you'd be in the same situation.
In fairness to the people who got elected, they got elected on the basis that they had the answers. They had the answers to all these problems. They have the answers at how many houses they're going to build, how many cardiac units they're going to provide. They have all the answers. So I'm looking forward to them forming a government. I just want to know who they're going to vote for Taoiseach.
Okay.
Because every single one of their canvassing cards said, we're going to solve all of these problems.
You didn't pick up the phone and ring Matt Shanahan and ask him, no?
No, I didn't pick up the phone and ring any independent. Because what I want to know is, as a citizen...
Yeah, but you went and did big statements and big press releases given out about people.
Yeah, and I issued it to every constituency where there's another independent who has yet to show their hand as to what they're going to do. Because I'm entitled to know. You're entitled to know. Everybody's entitled to know. They know who I'm going to vote for Taoiseach. They know who the Fianna Fáil deputy in Waterford is going to vote for Taoiseach. They know who the other deputies in the country.
Okay, yes, you've said that. I know you've said that. Yeah,
Joe. So I want to know. Because I'll tell you why. I want to know.
Yeah,
every one of them knocked on a door saying, "We'll solve these problems." So they now have an opportunity. There's 87 of them. If you discount...
Yes, you've said that. You've said that, Deputy. Yeah, you've said that.
There that they can farm.
And Joe has just texted in, "Making Your Mind Up" is a Bucks Fizz song, not an ABBA song, just to let you know.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't, the Eurovision for the 80s is before my time.
Deputy O'Donovan, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
See you, Damien. Good luck.
Mind that baby. God bless. Good luck. Coming up, we are going to be talking in a second now to Tom Quinlan, CEO of Affordable Live-In. Firstly, a couple more Vox Pops that we got this morning on the streets of Waterford regarding West Waterford and does it deserve to have a TD? Of course it does, people would say. Firstly, here's Jerry O'Connor, who's manager of Dungarvan Shopping Centre. We're here in Dungarvan in the shopping centre, opening up. Nice and early.
Yeah, nice and early, getting ready for the trade again.
Things are good at the minute. I know it's quiet in the winter, but business is good, as you were saying.
Yeah, a great year now last year. So yeah, we're looking forward to a good 2020 now.
Political representation, does it make a difference?
It will in the years to come. I think over the next 2-3 years, West Waterford will suffer from the lack of a West Waterford TD. But we'll see what Sinn Féin will bring to the table down in Waterford. It's up now to David Cullinane to back up the talk.
If he's in a government, of course.
If he's in a government, and if they are part of the government, I mean, he's nailed on to be a minister, I would imagine. So let's wait and see how it rolls out.
If there's another election in the next 2 months, do you think people might vote differently? Either in terms of geography, West Waterford, maybe vote more West Waterford, or would Sinn Féin's vote go up or down? Or
it's going to be a hard one to call. I think it'll be hard to reverse the trend.
And in terms of West Waterford, do you think there's a disconnect in certain parts of the county with what might be perceived to be going on in the city?
I think that's a long-held fear since the councils were abolished or amalgamated, whichever way you want to put it. That's been a long-standing fear, and I suppose the lack of a TD is only another one to add to the armoury, yeah, but it is a fear for West Waterford.
You had John Deise here before.
We had and we hadn't.
Dungarvan doesn't have, West Waterford doesn't have a TD. What do you think?
What do I think?
Is it a bad idea or a good idea, or does it matter? Or
not to me anyway. It don't matter to me anyway.
Why not?
To be honest with you, huh?
Why not?
To be honest with you, I don't think any of them are any good here. That's my belief. It could be miles wrong.
Yeah. No, you're entitled to your belief, yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe there should be one here, but I don't know. If it is one here, I don't know what they're doing anything at all for the town.
How's Dungarvan going? Like a lot of people would say, it's not going too bad.
It's not going too bad. Sure, it isn't going great, but it isn't going too bad. I mean, around here it's fairly good and everything like that, but there's a lot of it I'd say not going great. You know?
Does it matter if an area doesn't have a local representative, or is it important? I suppose it depends what he or she does as well.
I suppose in a sense it's handy to have them there, all right, but sure, it all depends on what they're going to do for you as well.
Yeah.
You know? It didn't. There's no good having them there. It's not going to do anything for you.
What's your own name?
Dennis.
Dennis what?
Egan.
Thanks, Egan. Dennis, thanks very much.
Lovely job. Thank you.
Good luck. Welcome back to the programme. We will have more on that unexplained infant death that Gardaí are currently investigating at Waterford City, a house of Waterford City, later in the programme. If we get it, we will also have more of your texts and comments. Damien S.A. kettle calling the pot black, listening to that Fine Gael TD. The three biggest parties can form a government between them. Damien, is that lad serious? They've been kept in power by a party who abstained in our national parliament. What's his opinion on that? Damien, it did not take 7 weeks for Fine Gael to form a government after the last election. Damien, why is that man worried about Waterford? His party never cared about Waterford. Damien, my daughter turned 35 last week. She's lived with us all her life. We love having her and miss her awfully when she goes on holidays. She helps us out. We help her out at times, so it works. And that's in relation to almost half of young Irish adults live with their parents. Now, speaking of parents, and as people get older, Tom Quinlan is joining me now. Tom, good morning.
Good morning, Damien.
Thank you very much for talking to me, and thanks for coming in. You're living a few miles from Lismore in West Waterford. Tell me about your own personal story. You were involved with a company, a business that you founded called Affordable Life or Affordable Live in Homecare. Tell me about your own personal story first.
Yes. Well, Damien, about 7 years ago, I was working as a primary school teacher, and my mum had COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And it's like an extreme form of asthma. And my mom's condition deteriorated a lot during the year of 2013, and she ended up in intensive care in hospital, and she was in there for a good number of weeks. And thankfully, she improved enough to be discharged. And the discharge coordinator gave us a choice between a nursing home or a visiting care service. And because my parents had only recently celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary at the time, we didn't want to put our mum into a nursing home because that would mean separating our parents. So we looked into the visiting care option, and we phoned up a few of the visiting care agencies, and we could see that the service was very expensive, especially if you needed any kind of substantial number of hours over an extended period of time. So I had to try and find another solution myself. So I managed to find a lovely lady from Poland who came over to Ireland, and she lived with my parents and myself from November 2013 until April 2014, when my mom passed away at home. And that lady, her name is Lena, she did housekeeping, she prepared meals, kept company and provided personal care to my mom. And she was there while I was gone out to work. So every day I'd head out to work, and Lena would be there taking care of my mom during the day. And in the evening then I'd be able to do my bit, and at the weekends my sister would be able to chip in as well. And between all of us, we were able to keep my mom at home in comfort with my dad right up until the very end. And 'twas during that time I started to think that there's got to be many, many other families in similar circumstances as ourselves who have an elderly relative who they want to try and keep at home, but they can't afford to pay, for a very expensive private care service. So I started my business, Affordable Live-In Home Care, and we've been operating now for more than 6 years. We've placed hundreds of carers during that time, and at the moment we have over 100 carers placed all over the country. And as a matter of fact, one of the very first carers we placed was in Dungarvan, and that carer stayed with a lady there for nearly 3 years, enabling her to stay at home virtually up to the end of her life. So, there's no doubt about it. There is a real need in society for this kind of service, and because the carer is live-in, the family is given the carer free accommodation and food as part of her employment package. So the carer has very, very few living expenses because she has the free accommodation, the free food, and no bills, no transportation costs. She's paid her salary by the family. So she's got a good deal from what she's doing. And from the family's point of view, they have somebody who's living in. So they're there at night for their elderly relatives' comfort and reassurance. And by day then, they're doing their work normally 5 to 6 days per week, up to a maximum of 48 hours, and then that's enabling the elderly person to stay at home in safety and in comfort.
Couple of questions. Are these carers normally from abroad?
Yes, most of our carers are coming from Eastern Europe, and that's not because we don't want to recruit carers in Ireland, because we do advertise all the time for carers in Ireland, but it tends to be carers coming from abroad that take up these positions by virtue of the fact that, it's accommodation and food provided as part of the package. So it's more of an attractive proposition for somebody who's coming from abroad rather than somebody who is already in Ireland, yes, who has their own setup, has their own accommodation. They don't want to move in with somebody under those circumstances.
That makes sense. All your carers are Garda vetted,
yes,
and checked.
Yes.
Would they be all female or some men?
Most of our carers are female, but we do recruit male carers and place male carers as well. But the most of the demand is for female carers. But of course, when a family wants a male carer, there's no problem there as well.
In terms of age brackets, are we looking at an average of women in their 20s or 30s, or how does it work out?
Yes. Well, when we're recruiting carers, we're looking for people who are mature, have life experience, and that means usually people who are 30 plus. So most of our carers would fit into that age range of between 30 and 60. But we do recruit carers in their 20s as well, particularly career carers. These would be people who would have trained up as a carer in college and see being a carer as their career path. So we would then be happy to recruit that type of carer as well.
So these people then will get a wage, a salary from the family, the host family. You would then have, I suppose, get a percentage of placing that care. Is that how it works?
Yes. So
how do you make money?
Yes, good question. So we make our money in two ways. One is the upfront placement fee. So we charge a placement fee for putting all of this in place. And then we charge
Is it expensive?
Well, it's €1,660 including VAT. €1,660 including VAT. That's the placement fee for setting it up in the first place. And then we charge an ongoing training and support fee then for the duration of the placement. And for that, we stay in contact with the family and we stay in contact with the carer right throughout the placement to make sure that everything stays on track and that the family is happy and that the carer is happy. And we've seen that that's making the real difference in our service, that we do keep that contact.
It sounds like kind of an au pair service for older people.
Yes, that's one way of looking at it. And sometimes
you're turning it around and you're basically getting and it's a lovely idea. And I presume what you're doing is you're taking out the stress and the anxiety and the worry from a family that, God, I don't know, is this woman going to be okay? You've Garda vetted her. Also, there's a 3-week trial period, is that right?
Yes. So all of our placements come with a 3-week trial period. So that's to give the family time to make sure that this person is right for their relative's needs. And by the end of the 3 weeks, in nearly every circumstance, the families will know at that stage if this person is right or not. And if they're not, we give the family a choice then of either a refund of the placement fee or a free replacement carer. And again, as I say, we maintain the contact then after the 3-week trial period. So the family, it's not as if, once the 3 weeks has passed, that's it. That's not the way we work. We take care of our clients very well.
Like if you found after 5 or 6 months somebody was unhappy and they found out something about this person, that they're really smelly or they're not very nice or didn't get on with them, you could change the care potentially.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that
the client comes first, I presume.
Yes, absolutely. And changing carer is a fairly straightforward process. All the family has to do is give the carer 3 weeks' notice.
I presume you have a duty of care to the carer as well, do you?
Well, yes, of course, yeah, because the carer is coming over to Ireland. She's taking a big chance to change her life, come over to Ireland and start afresh here. So she's taking a great leap of faith, and we greatly appreciate that, and that's why we're very careful to take the best care of our carers as well, and that's why we've been building our reputation for the last 6.5 years, that carers know that AL Home Care will take care of them, and if they have issues, if they have problems, we're there for them, and when their placement finishes, because placements do finish, we can find them then their follow-on job. So the carers can continue working for us, across the years.
Have you found it's worked?
Yes, absolutely. I can say with pure confidence that my service works, that we have many, many happy clients. We deal with many different conditions, heart disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, post-operative care, right up to palliative care. And we can place up to and including fully qualified nurses as well. So, we can provide really good care for elderly people that can deal with nearly every circumstance. But at the end of the day as well, we're mindful that nursing homes do have a place in elderly care as well, and we will try and enable the elderly person to stay at home for as long as possible, as long as it's safe to do so.
Any really funny experiences or bad experiences, or what was the strangest one that ever happened?
Oh, that's a good question now. Funny, strange experiences. Well, I suppose, sometimes, there can be cultural, misunderstandings. Like, for example, Eastern Europe, the carers come from Eastern Europe are used to living in apartments. So to come to Ireland, to live in a house, maybe in the countryside where there's an open fire and you're going in and out, you're taking out the ashes and you're putting in turf or coal or whatever into the fire and whatever, that can be an interesting thing for carers, especially at the beginning, because they will never have come across that before. And sometimes the families won't appreciate that because they'll think, oh, well, lighting a fire is a very normal thing to do in Ireland, whereas somebody coming from living in an apartment in Poland who's used to having, a central heating system will have never done that. So that can lead to some, interesting situation as well. Yeah.
It's one of those things we could talk about, and we will talk about it again, I think, Tom, because it's a major issue and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger over the coming years in terms of caring for the elderly.
Yes, and thank you very much, Damien, for having me in today.
Now, if people want to contact you, it's called Affordable Live-In Home Care. You're based down in Cork. I suppose just type in Affordable Live-In Home Care firstly on the website.
Or alhomecare.ie as well. And we provide a nationwide service, so we've clients all over the country. It just so happens our offices are based in Cork, and our main contact number is 087 991 6791. That's 087 991 6791, and we have a lovely receptionist, Eileen, will be delighted to take your call.
Hello, Eileen. Listen, thanks very much, and mind those fireplaces. And Tom Quinlan, thanks very much.
Thank you, Damien.
We'll talk to you again soon. Some text and comments coming in about that, and people will be on about different matters of different things. So keep in touch with us, what you want to text 083 333 975. We're going to be talking to Laura Erskine, a parenting expert, next on 50 things children, especially young girls, should do before the age of 5. Now we are in a minute going to be talking to Laura from Baby Doc Club. Firstly, Damien, did any of your listeners watch the RT Investigates programme last night? It was very, very upsetting. I watched it. Other people texting in, have all the carers got VTech level Garda 5? They all are Garda vetted. They all have qualifications, I'm told. And also another thing that Tom said, they are also fully compliant with all the legislation. They get pay slips. They don't work any more than 46 or 48 hours a week. Damien, I think we badly need a TD here in the West. Look at the leaflets for the 4 TDs that were elected put through the doors. Damien, a Fine Gael wannabe for Waterford City might have done better if he answered his phone. That is from somebody who tried to contact him. We are going to be talking to Matt Shanahan. Matt Shanahan would say that he answers loads of queries from many, many people, and he will be talking possibly tomorrow about who he's going to vote for in the Dáil. Now I'm going to go straight to Laura. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. It's midterm break, so I'm sure there are lots of parents listening eagerly waiting for some fun ideas.
Some fun ideas. Yeah, we have tropical weather conditions down here in the southeast. It's not the sunny southeast today, it's a tropical southeast. You're Laura Erskine, you're a parenting expert. Baby Doc Club, is that it?
That's right. We're a social first parenting community focusing on children and parents, from pregnant parents all the way up to children of age 5. So it's perfect for the topic that we're going to discuss today, and the kind of community that links in with me through Instagram and Facebook there on Baby Doc.
Yeah, I know one of the things that became big news in the last while for parents would be 50 things girls should do by the age of 5. This is Holly Willoughby's former school. They drew up a list to try to entice children away from screens. Now, this is obviously Burgess Hill Girls' School, which is a very exclusive school, but some of the things that they were talking about is fly a kite, make a cake, make a smoothie, build a dan, go down a water slide, ride a bike, dance in the rain. The implication within this are that they're things to get children off their iPads, up trees, out and about, and basically engage more with nature. Is that it?
That's it. The programme drawn up by the school is actually thought to be the first of its kind, deliberately targeting children under the age of 5. So trying to, ignite that sense of adventure amongst children of a young age, so that they go on to primary school and indeed secondary school with an adventurous streak, where they will try lots of new activities, get involved in sports and experience the outdoors much more so, with the overall aim of trying to combat obesity and the growing epidemic of screen addiction amongst children.
What's your own view about all this, Laura? Like, are we overstating the prevalence of children under the age of 5 being on phones? Like, they don't get phones, do they, under the age of 5?
Oh, I beg to differ. They don't. They certainly don't own a phone under the age of 5. That would be shocking.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But they certainly do get access to televisions, to iPads, and indeed a smartphone when out and about, just to I suppose distract a toddler or even a crying baby, whether it's through nursery rhymes, music, interactive app games that might be aimed at developing a child's literacy skills in terms of letter formation, or indeed following a story, but it's still a screen. And I suppose parents were becoming more and more reliant on the screen to distract our child and to keep our child entertained, because it's easier. And we're also busy as parents, more busier than ever before, we're not taking the time to think up the kind of games and maybe the sort of playful developmental interactions that we could do with our children that would have been done with us when we were children. And they're really things like, allowing your child to get outside and get dirty, to put the wellies on a rainy day like today, get out into the woods, allow them to throw leaves, to get their hands dirty, to make mud pies, to considering building a den, and I suppose doing all of those things that maybe you look outside and you think, gosh, I couldn't imagine going out in that weather. But it's about exploring that sense of adventure and enjoying it with them, and then going home and having a really warm bubble bath with your child, getting cozy and watching a movie. I suppose it's all about balance, and it's hard as parents when you're trying to juggle keeping the house running, perhaps also maybe working, and the needs of other children, and that sometimes the screen can be the easy default option. But I suppose the idea behind this is, with 50 ideas of ways to spend time with your children and to get outdoors, is they're really basic ideas that maybe it might ignite a sense of adventure in parents too. Things like walking a dog,
that's exactly,
a worm.
Yeah, that's exactly, Laura. That's what I was going to say. Effectively, it has to come down to parenting, doesn't it? Like, the children will go out and play if they're brought out to play. Some parents are just feckin' lazy. They just don't want to do it. They prefer to be on the phones themselves rather than going out, climbing a hill, feeding the ducks, washing the car, toasting a marshmallow, playing on the beach, making a scrapbook. They're just lazy.
I can't, Taro. I can't agree with the general statement that all parents are lazy, but
I said some.
That it can be difficult when you're tired as a parent to think of these ideas. And I think having a list in front of you and sticking it on the fridge, or even making a plan like on the midterm break, because you will have children who normally go to Montessori that maybe are on a midterm break to coincide with school curriculum, and they're looking for ideas for this week, and that's where you really need to I suppose, stick your thinking cap on and actually plan activities with your children, and get involved. They love role play, so having a picnic together in the house if it's raining outside, building a tent in the house. It doesn't always have to be an uncomfortable journey outside. If it's very cold, but they are basic things. Dancing in the rain. I know Peppa Pig is a big fan of sticking the wellies on and running outside to play. And as parents, we're looking and we're thinking about the laundry and washing up afterwards and getting dirty and perhaps catching a cold. But I suppose it's allowing children to be children and allowing as an adult to also regress a little bit, enjoy yourself and play. And that can be quite difficult as an adult to remember what it's like to play and to have fun. But my goodness, they're the memories that your children will remember, not the amount of Peppa Pig episodes they've got to watch, but it's the memories where you're interacting with them. They're the ones that they'll remember forever.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And as I said earlier, it's only some parents that they'd use the phones themselves and television as a false babysitter. It is about parents engaging, and parents, I suppose, being honest with themselves, Laura, and literally saying, OK, I'm going to spend the next hour to do something special with my child to make this day special.
That's it. And there's an Irish child psychologist, Joanna Fortune, who I link in with quite regularly, and she talks about 15-minute parenting, and actually it's 15 minutes per day is all you really need to do in terms of spending, connected time with your child, where you've left phones outside, in order to be connected with them, to actually learn how to play again. And actually, if you can expand that into 15 minutes every hour, that would be wonderful. But as a minimum, even on the days that we are busy, we are working, 15 minutes of playtime, genuine playtime, and allowing your child to lead the play is so important in terms of their development, but also in terms of building resilience, confidence, and emotional security.
Laura, from Baby Doc Club, you've got a lot on your website there, Baby Doc Club. You're a parenting expert. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And your listeners will find us on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Laura Erskine there, joining us from Baby Doc Club. Damien, my granddaughter recently had a bike training session in her school. She was amazed that some children weren't able to cycle. She's 10. So have you got a 10-year-old child that's unable to cycle a bike? Let us know. I'd love to hear from you, please. Damien, do you think the claims culture is having a negative impact on children's play? Yeah, I think you could be onto something good there. Damien, Tom and Dungarvan, a big text. I won't be able to read it out all, Tom, talking about we definitely need a TD in the West. Other people talking about the interview with Conor McGuinness, saying he sounded very, very good. He came across very well. I met Conor at the Women's Shed. He and a new Labour councillor were the only ones to visit and listen to us. He's a lovely young man. Conor McGuinness is like a breath of fresh air. Damien, can you ask Conor, was he ever involved in Irigi or anything outside of Ogre Sinn Féin? I don't know. I'll ask him that the next time. Damien, I have just one son. He's now 33 years old and still living with me. This is about parents, children living with their parents. His mother died 13 years ago. When I thought he'd up and go, but he's still with me. And he has a girlfriend. She asked him, would he move out and move in with her? He said no. He's still living with me. Isn't that nice? 083 333 975. An issue we might look at tomorrow. Damien, I'm 77 years old. I have cancer. I have the written support of 3 oncologists. I can't get a medical card. Fine Gael took the medical card off over 70s. Now, the unexplained infant death. Our news team are going to have more on that at 12 o'clock. Firstly, our business awards. Karen Tompkins has been talking to people involved with Slice Wood Fire Pizza, Cliff House Hotel and Paula's Delicatessen. This is for the upcoming Chamber Business Awards. The category today is food and beveraging.
The Best Food and Beverage Experience category at this year's Waterford Business Awards is sponsored by PwC. First up, it's Slice Wood Fire Pizza. John Keane founded Slice Pizzeria in 2017, and as he says himself, he's obsessed with pizza. Their ethos is simple: to create fresh wood-fired pizza and using the best quality ingredients, sourced locally where possible.
We're a pizzeria based out in Unit 2 Balnakill Shopping Centre. What we do is we serve wood-fire pizza and sides from our pizzeria. So we have a takeout option and we also have a sit-down area. I was a young lad. My partner Susan always kind of rolls her eyes up when she hears this story, but I was in hospital and it was an overnight, and my sister Deirdre actually at the time, so I must have been about 6 or 7, so quite young. It's kind of my earliest memory of food. She snuck me into Ardkeen Hospital. She snuck me in a small special pizza from a takeaway. I just remember the box on my lap. I remember opening it up. I remember the steam rising, the mozzarella, the crisp stone-baked base, the sauce, the pepperoni, the ham, the pineapple, and just that moment set off something for me. I just became a little bit obsessed then with pizza from then on, and I knew at some stage I'd want to work in this field, you know. I grew up on the Dummer Road, so I know the area very well. I live in Ballygunner with my 2 kids, Charlie and Emma and Susan, so our family home is in Ballygunner. My mum and dad still live on the Dummer Road. There's a bit of kind of grow and a bit of love for that area for me anyway. I would have been familiar with Balnakill Shopping Centre, and I would have been looking at units there over the last couple of years anyway. We kind of focus more on the residential area. We are a local family business. It just made absolute sense for us to be there.
Their dishes are handcrafted using traditional methods, while also adding their own twists along the way. The pizzeria is a family-run business, and at Slice, every pizza matters.
I use the word artisan a lot. I suppose people don't get to see the side, a lot of the sides of what we do, you know, which is the production of the dough. We import Italian flour. We use Italian mozzarella. There's no additives, no preservatives, no extra salts, no oils in anything that we do. Everything is fresh and it's handmade. That's the key to it for us. And when you go to Italy, and if you have Neapolitan pizza, they don't tend to put it into a box. They ask you to eat it in front of them because they want you to have it as fresh and as fast as possible. So I'd be the mindset of fresh, quality pizza is what we're about. I give it to my children and I'll happily stand over what we do. We have some big plans coming now in February and March, and we have a kind of an internal expansion, if that, for the want of a better word, within the building. So something, Karen, that I kind of came up with when we started was to do it actually started with the idea of a pizza of the month. I love experimenting at home with curries and you name it, Mexican food, all types of cuisine. The pizza of the month became the pizza of the week. I just started challenging myself every week. We did a curry pizza. We made a masala pizza sauce using proper spices. We finished that with like a mango coulis, fresh coriander on it, a little chilled yogurt, some sliced chicken over the top. And it just became this naan bread type curry pizza. It just took off. So we've done a burrito pizza, and we did a Mexican nacho pizza. So I did a fish and chips pizza. So we've done lots and lots of different types of artisan. And the pizza of the week, I suppose, is the thing that's catching people, which is great.
Next in the category is Paula's Delicatessen, which opened in 2013. It's thriving thanks to the continuous hard work, passion and dedication of Paula Prendeville and her team. The company offers a wonderful array of fresh homemade food, and all orders receive Paula's personal touch, care and attention.
It was always one of my dreams to have a shop that would sell food. So 7 years ago, the opportunity arose. I jumped in, feet first, as I usually do, without really thinking everything through. I was very lucky in that some people I had worked with in the past said they'd join me. I've always been in the hospitality industry. Being in retail, which this is, was completely different. We made some terrible mistakes. We persevered, were very stubborn, and we learnt. And as it got busier and busier, we kept evolving with the business. We listened to our customers. The girls downstairs are amazing. They have built up a great reputation with everybody who comes in. We have a huge repeat business. I think we're in a very good area location-wise as well. We have a very broad range of customers. When I started off many years ago in the business, you had husbands, wives, people coming to eat in the restaurant. In this particular business, so many of our customers have come from that. They are the ladies who would like to have they're having a party or they're having friends in or a book club or something like that, and they're probably all working busy. They want something and they might add to that themselves, so they will order that from us. And what I find is if somebody is at that party and they haven't known about us, then we'll usually get extra business from that. Our other customers, we cater a lot for corporates. So again, a lunch in the hospital with some of the reps, and they will pass our name on to somebody else. In some of the companies, again in Waterford, they've heard about us mainly. They will come and they'll order, and then once we've looked after them, once we find they come back again, it's always about a trust issue. We will deliver, we will give them quality, and we'll work really hard to make sure that they're all very happy.
Paula is passionate about her work and she says she loves it. She prides herself in going the extra mile and looks forward to offering more delicious, healthy, homemade, modern food in the future.
It's a total commitment. I eat, live, sleep, breathe food and events. Girls, again, have been with me so often. They love it. They love getting out, going to set up an event in a company, and then taking photographs and getting the feedback. It gives us a buzz. I think catering, if you love it, is like you get adrenaline rushes from it. We get these buzz from it and we come back and say, oh my God, that was amazing. And that's what it's like. We've done some amazing launches in West Pharma. We have done some absolutely super small weddings. I don't do big weddings, but we do small weddings and after weddings, 1 or 2 in a house here in Waterford. Very varied. It's always exciting.
Next in the category is the Cliff House Hotel. The Cliff House is a privately owned hotel, restaurant and lifestyle group founded upon authentic Irish values in design, hospitality and cuisine. The organisation is in a dynamic growth phase. They currently own and manage 3 properties in Ireland, city, country and coastal. The Cliff House Hotel in beautiful Ardmore stands apart, as General Manager Patrick Shields explains.
Cliff House reopened as its current hotel in 2007. Very quickly it was awarded a Michelin star after about 1.5 years for the restaurant, which was huge because at the time it was the only one outside of Dublin. And I'm glad to report that in Ireland more and more Michelin stars have sprung up, which is great for the Irish food scene in particular. However, the Michelin star at that time, it was probably excellent timing because, as we all know, the country then faced into a very difficult recession, and it allowed the Cliff House Hotel to maintain a certain awareness out there for guests, not alone in Ireland but worldwide, and became a destination really. And then once guests arrived and they saw that it was perched on the side of a cliff, that every room was sea facing, it really married into that destination experience. So the Michelin star initially was great, and then we've managed to win that each year for the last 11 years in a row, which shows a tremendous level of consistency. It's a tremendous string to our bow to have that restaurant, because we know with the sequence of service, the attention to detail, that guests will really have a genuinely good food experience with all of the preparation that goes into it. It's a very consistent kind of flow of business in that guests check in and they're all in before 6 p.m. They all have their reservations in the restaurant at certain times. We do a very specific number of covers, which is 64 on any given night. We only take 3 bookings every 15 minutes. So it's very timed, just again to maintain that level of consistency.
They're a cut above when it comes to food and beverage, and it's maintaining those high standards that sees them shortlisted at this year's Waterford Business Awards.
We've many. McGrath's beef, just to name one, is from Lismore, only over the road. But throughout our menu, you'll see that local crab, etc. It's very important to us. I think it's very important to the people that accredit our hotel, that they want to see that these days. It's very much important to the guest that comes. And wine is very popular as well at the Cliff House, as well as some local beverage providers that we have, such as Dungarvan Brewing Company, etc., and a local cider company. So all of that kind of marries into the experience with our well spat, that people can just park the car outside and not worry about it until it's time to leave again. Over 80% of our guests are coming from within Ireland, and we have a huge return guest as well who come again and again and again, and we have to meet their expectations around the menu. We're right by the sea, so our menus need to reflect that as well. Our team grew last year. We're up at about 137 staff now, but we've seen business grow as well. The economy has been doing better. A lot of our staff are local and from within Ardmore even, as well as travelling in from Dungarvan. I think that's hugely important because guests will ask about the area and what to do, and for them to have grown up and know it inside out is a huge asset to us.
And those are your nominees in the Best Food and Beverage Experience category. The winner will be announced at this year's Waterford Business Awards, taking place on Friday, February 28th at the Tower Hotel.
Lovely report there from Karen. Thank you very much for that, Karen. I'm going to leave you on a happy text. Damien have a 6-year-old grandson. He can't ride a bike. He won't play with a ball, but he's outside playing all the time. He loves taking the dogs for a walk on the beach. His mum only allows him half an hour screen time daily. He's such a happy little boy. It's going to be happy in Waterford today. The sun is coming out. The rain is abating. Julie has been the producer here in Dungarvan. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Thank you very much.